Turning Back the Tide team, I'd like to welcome Charles, Letitia, Sarah and Nick, and our mentors Dave and Sean. Thank you.
Every piece of plastic ever created still exists today. And by the time one piece of plastic has broken down, your family will be another 17 generations older. Now, welcome to this Smart Seeds presentation of 2017. I'm joined here by the Turning Back the Tide team, who, through the IBIS project, have been working for the last 10 weeks, immersed in the problem of plastics in our waterways. And they're here to talk to you about the innovative and creative solution that they've come up with. Now, Sarah is going to talk to you about this real scale of the problem, the size and why it actually is an issue. Nick, our technology officer, is going to talk to you about the solution they've come up with by amending existing technologies and creating a new purpose for them. And Letitia is going to talk to you about how we're going to fund it. And when we're done, we're going to show you that that really is the first step in turning back the tide of plastic. So, Sarah, I want to talk to you first, and I want to ask you, what really is the size of the issue that we're dealing with here?
Well, like you said, Charlie, every single piece of plastic ever created still exists today. In fact, since the 1950s, the global production of plastics has been increasing exponentially. We produced more plastics in the first 10 years of this current century than the entire century that preceded it. And around 11 million tons of that plastic is ending up in our oceans every single year. In fact, the problem is so bad that scientists have predicted by 2050 we'll have more plastics in the ocean than fish.
Yeah, I mean, those statistics really bear out that plastic is sort of a huge presence in our society. You can just look around and see plastic chairs. A car is made up of 50% plastic. So then if it's so prevalent, is it really such an issue? Is it harmful?
I want to be clear here, Charlie. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with plastics as a material. It's inexpensive, it's lightweight, and it's durable. And let's face it, has become an essential part of modern society. However, the problem comes with how we manage the plastic rather than the plastic itself. In Australia, we have great recycling facilities. However, you might be surprised to know only around 11% of total plastic used actually end up getting recycled.
I mean, 11% is not a huge number, but then we also have, very good waste infrastructure in Australia. And is it not that the rest of that number is actually just getting landfilled?
Only to some extent, Charlie. We have some great infrastructure. However, it is unable to cope with capacity in events outside of its it's not able to cope with capacity in events outside of its envelope. For example, gross pollutant traps, or GPTs, are designed to stop litter from entering our waterways. However, during heavy storm events, the litter will actually flow over the GPT and end up directly in our oceans. Once it reaches the oceans, the plastic will break down into what scientists call microplastics. This microplastics gets consumed by small marine life, which become prey to large marine life, and it's eventually ending up on our plates. That's right, humans are consuming more and more plastics, and the toxins absorbed by the plastics. Or in this case, an albatross, which has consumed so much plastics, it's actually died of starvation. So overall, there's many reasons contributing to this issue, which can be summarized as ineffective containment strategies.
And you know what? And I think that's it. I think that's sort of the nub of the problem, and you sort of hit the nail on the head. It's not necessarily the material of plastics that's the issue, it's the way that we deal with it. And if you look at the problem through the lens of ineffective containment strategies, then how have you guys sort of gone about tackling that?
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. And we think we've got the perfect solution. It's called Intelligent Bird-Based Integrated System, or IBIS. Up until now, there hasn't been a full spectrum solution to this problem without large-scale community intervention or government granting.
So what sort of innovations have you brought in then that doesn't require sort of a large-scale government intervention?
So we've got two core pieces of technology, Charlie. The first is our collection drone with artificial intelligence, infrared and photographic technology. These technologies work in unison to identify and remember specific types of plastic. Therefore, in the collection phase, they're able to be targeted and efficient. The second piece of technology that we've developed is our shipping container fitted with solar panels, waste compartments and charging stations for our drones.
So really, you've got the two elements there. You've got the commercial drone that you've sort of modified by fitting in AI and then some grappling arms and things so that you've got a collection and sorting capability. And then it looks like they've got a sort of split up container that they live in. But then how does that sort of operate towards the plastic problem?
So this is the best part, Charlie, and it's very simple. It's a 3-phase process called scan, collection, and recycle. The first phase is scan. Now imagine you're sitting beside the King George's River and a truck pulls up and unloads this container. All of a sudden, it opens up and an army of drones flies out over the river, scanning and identifying the different pieces of plastic in the waterways. They're mapping out the most efficient route for collection. The drones then go through the process of collecting all this rubbish, taking it back to our container, and the container is removed from site, and all the plastics and other waste are disposed of appropriately.
So effectively, with your scan, collect, recycle system that you've sort of packaged into a unit, you've almost got a solution in a box. I mean, you've sort of got a fallback system for when containment fails. So really, it's in a container, so there's no geographic limitations of where this can go. I mean, I can see this sort of sent out into the ocean or just placed on anywhere that really there's a plastic pollution problem. So then, with the potential scalability of that and new technology, obviously one of the big issues with new ideas and technology is cost. So Letitia, as our CFO, I'm interested for you to tell us how we're going to pay for it.
Absolutely, Charlie. As has already been mentioned tonight, every single piece of plastic ever created still exists today. Now, keeping this in mind, alongside the fact that our IBIS technology is a combination of already existing technologies that are proven and tested in the marketplace, we believe that we have a very inexpensive solution to the problem. Our first containerised prototype is estimated to cost approximately $250,000 with a payback return period of 2 to 3 years. This return period is based on several commercial models that we have available, depending on our client and their needs.
You talk to clients and they're always important in a new venture to make sure that they're a viable alternative. So then what sort of markets are you looking at targeting?
Realistically, we can target any market. However, the main organisations that we are targeting are local councils, NGOs, government organisations, and private organisations such as Clean Up Australia.
And a lot of those organisations, they sort of rely on government funding and volunteer workforces, but and a lot of them are sort of already bringing in their own programs, such as the container deposit schemes that are coming in around Australia. How will that interact with your solution?
It'll interact with it much more positively. So the CDS is a 10-cent refund on all PET containers, which is actually greater than the commercial resale value of plastic. However, it only tackles the PET problem, which is your classic water bottles and your fruit juice containers. It does not account for all of the other plastics that are currently in our environment today. On a global and national scale, our drone solution is a holistic response to tackling it. Our drones are more effective than human interaction because they are safer to use and they are more efficient.
So what I'm hearing is that we've got not only a containerized, autonomous and mobile solution to the problem, but it's one that has infinite growth potential. So currently it's cost effective, so it's viable today. But if you look at the way that the drones learn and the technology becomes cheaper and scalability drives cost effectiveness, then realistically in the future it's a sustainable solution. So I'd like to thank you all for coming in today, and I'd like to leave all of you with this thought. In the time that we've been standing up here, an extra 168 tonnes of plastic have entered our oceans. And I hope you agree with me that the IBIS team has discovered the first step to turning back that tide.
Very well done, Turning Back the Tide team. And good news, the patent office just let me know that is now registered. Thank you. Absolutely fantastic judges. Please, some feedback for the team.
Hi, well done, guys. I thought you did a fantastic job in providing us with a lot of information in a very short period of time, and articulating the problem and the statistical information that backed up why you've come up with the solution. So well done.
Yes, well done, guys. I just have visions of me walking down the street and a drone taking my bottle of water away. Just like, where are you going with? No, well done. I really think there's great. Particularly, I liked your last slide around some of the funding options, including those stakeholders. Yes, your not-for-profits are like them, and on selling that waste as well. I thought it was a really clever way to put together a funding model. So well done.
Thank you.
Well done, team.
Thank